Yeah, as it happens, we took the whole question of security very seriously. There were very strict confidentiality clauses for everyone involved. And from day one, we kept all our files in a locked safe.
Who was the guy that Mike interviewed? Was that Holden?
Holden. And Ehrlich.
And Ehrlich, I always get the Germans mixed up, so I'm a little confused about that. What is Haldeman's official? Hello,
Chief of Staff.
Head of domestic. Well, since the ex-president's name attracted an awful lot of attention, we would refer intellexes to the subject. And when we were researching in restaurants and so on, Nixon would become
William Holden, possibly.
William Holden.
Okay. Charlton Heston.
Holden's
good. All right. How about Chuck Berry?
Look, I'm sorry, fellas. I've got to get going. I'll see you tomorrow or Thursday.
As for the work over the months, we divided it into 3 sections. Bert took Vietnam, Bob took foreign and domestic policy, and I got Watergate and the abuses of power. And David, we never really saw much of David.
Okay, so how should we kick this off? What should the first question be?
First question should be a loosener. You know, sorry to hear about Miss Nixon and her stroke. You know, how's the phlebitis? How's the retirement treating you?
Bob's right.
The deafening click you will hear, Bob, is of 40 million Americans turning off their TVs.
Well, what do you want to do? Throw him a tightener? He's already paranoid.
Good evening. As most of you know, there was an attempt on the life of President Ford in San Francisco today. The second time, 17 days. His life has been directly in danger.
Yeah, take that for pardoning Nixon.
You know, John Q. Public has no freaking idea what the Houston plan is, so you got to make it digestible. You can see the seeds of dirty tricks. Essentially, it's an attempt to legalize dirty tricks.
That's why you got to get David to put it in the question. You got to wiretapping students, opening people's mail.
You mean
front
loading the question?
Yes, exactly. What do you want?
Carbonara. You tried the carbonara?
They don't have carbonara. You want to look at the menu again? Yeah,
carbonara, right there. What about wiretapping?
How many people?
But if you say to him, for instance, if you say to him, how do you feel about
17?
17 people?
Including his own brother. But you know what? We can't ask him about his brother because, frankly, if Donald Nixon was my brother, I'd wiretap him too.
I think we need to talk about imperialism, and bypassing Congress is completely unconstitutional. Imperialism.
How do we frame a question about Cambodia, about the illicit bombing?
I think you should say, how far do you take executive privilege before it becomes an undemocratic event?
I think you frame the question to him as a Quaker.
How do you feel as a Quaker to annihilate an entire people?
Do you still want mayonnaise on your club? If you establish that he has this insecurity, that leads to motive, which leads to Watergate.
Okay, next topic.
This man has
you and I will never agree.
Why don't you go out by the pool,
I can make you.
chain yourself to a pool chair, light yourself on fire.
That's funny.
Okay? And then we'll get some facts and figures together, and then
we'll compare notes. We'll compare notes. Funny. There's a reason they call him Tricky Dick.
We have breaking and entering. We have wiretapping, conspiracy to foster prostitution, and that's the lady.
Delivery, meat and owls, minus deli selection. Right, what do that Chinese?
If they say they're interested in a sponsorship, thank you, then I'll be there, obviously. But how serious are they?
Very good.
It feels so late that it's time for my breakfast.